Hey there, I've got a fact for you today that's going to completely flip what you think you know about the ancient world. Seriously, we're about to take a dive into deep, deep time. All right, let's start with a quick question. When you think of ancient Earth, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably these huge, towering trees in some primeval forest, right? But what if I told you that sharks, yeah, sharks, were already old-timers by the time the very first forests showed up? So, which one is it? You've got sharks on one side, these timeless, perfect predators, and on the other, you have trees. I mean, they're the symbol of old, ancient life. Your gut feeling, your common sense, it's probably screaming it's gotta be the trees. Yeah, but the rocks don't lie. The geological record tells a totally different story. The first sharks, they show up on the scene about 450 million years ago, and the first real trees, they don't appear for another 65 million years, around 385 million years ago. Just let that sink in. Sharks are older than trees. And here's the really mind-bending part. We're not talking about a small gap here. Some estimates put that difference at over 100 million years. That's not a rounding error. That's an eternity. For 100 million years, sharks were swimming in oceans on a planet that didn't have a single forest. No trees, no rustling leaves, nothing.
Okay, to really get our heads around this, we need to look at the timeline. It's almost unbelievable. Let's put these crazy numbers into some perspective.
Okay, look at this. Sharks pop up way, way back here. Then, tens of millions of years go by, and then trees finally show up. But now look at this. See how far down the line the dinosaur extinction is? The asteroid that wiped them out? By that point, sharks had already been cruising the oceans for almost 400 million years. Insane.
So what did that world even look like? Let's try to picture the planet that these first sharks were born into. First, you gotta forget everything you picture about lush, green jungles. 450 million years ago, the land was basically just barren rock. The real party was in the oceans. The seas were just teeming with life. Weird corals, trilobites crawling around, all sorts of early fish, and that is the world the very first sharks swam into.
And then, everything started to change. This plant, Archaeopteris, it figures out how to grow a woody trunk. It becomes one of the first true trees. And that was a game changer for the whole planet. Suddenly, you have soil being made, way more oxygen getting pumped into the air. They were literally building the world that would let life finally crawl out of the water and onto land. Just think about that for a second. By the time planet Earth was just starting to grow its first forests, sharks were already hardened veterans. They'd been around for ages, and they'd already survived at least one massive extinction event that killed off tons of other species.
So that leads to the big question, right? How? How did they do it? What's their secret? What's in their evolutionary toolkit that's made them one of the greatest survivors of all time?
All right, so what's the secret sauce for their survival? It really boils down to a few brilliant evolutionary tricks.
Well, first off, it's their basic blueprint. You know how we have heavy, bony skeletons? Sharks don't. Theirs is made of cartilage, like what's in your ear. It's super lightweight and flexible. That makes them unbelievably fast and efficient in the water. It's a huge advantage that's been working for them for, well, 450 million years.
Oh, but it gets better. Their teeth, it's like a conveyor belt of daggers, constantly being replaced. They're never without a sharp bite. Plus, they have this sixth sense, an ability to detect the tiny electrical fields that all living things give off. It's like a superpower for hunting. And there are over 500 different species of them. They've adopted to live pretty much everywhere in the ocean, from tropical reefs to the pitch-black abyss.
So you've got this ultimate survival machine. And trust me, it's been tested over and over again. Let's talk about how sharks handle the end of the world. 5. Just remember that number. 5 times life on this planet has been nearly wiped out. I'm talking about global catastrophes that hit the reset button on evolution, killing off most of everything. And sharks? They just swam through all 5 of them.
I mean, really let that sink in. The big one, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, ending their 150 million year rule in a flash, it wasn't enough to get rid of sharks. While the world on land was burning, sharks were down in the oceans, just waiting it out, ready to own the place when things calmed down.
So yeah, they are the ultimate survivors. They can handle anything the planet throws at them. But their entire 450 million year history could not have prepared them for the threat they're facing today.
Because this time, the threat isn't an asteroid from space or a massive volcano. It's something new, something completely unnatural.
We're talking about overfishing, which is wiping out their populations way faster than they can have babies. We're destroying their homes, the coastal nurseries and coral reefs they depend on. And climate change is altering the oceans so fast, the temperature, the chemistry, that even these incredible survivors are having a hard time keeping up.
So why should we care? Look, sharks aren't just another predator. They're living history. They are a direct line back to an ancient Earth that's almost alien to us, a world before forests, before flowers, before anything that walked on land. If we lose them, we're tearing out one of the oldest and most successful chapters in the entire story of life.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty heavy thought. For 450 million years, they survived everything the planet could throw at them. Asteroids, ice ages, you name it. The only question left is, can they survive us?